Welcome to today's lesson. Today we'll be talking about living and non-living things. What do I mean by living and non-living things? Let's take a look together. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to know the difference between living and non-living things, and you should also be able to know the characteristics of living things. How do I know that this thing is a living or a non-living thing? Everything around us, everything that you see, is classified into two things, living and non-living. How do I know that it's a living thing? Living things are like people, you, me, your family, your friends, animals, and plants. Why are they living things? They are living things because they need food to eat, water to drink, air to breathe, and space to live in. Not only this, but they also grow and change. What do I mean by this? I'm going to show you some examples, but the last characteristic that you need to know is also living things, they need to reproduce. What do I mean by reproduce? They make new living things like themselves. Let's take a look on the next examples. Our examples of living things: a cat. A cat reproduces kittens. What else? A tree reproduces apples. And a mom, she reproduces a new baby. So this is why they are classified from living things. Let's take a look on the non-living things. Non-living things, they don't need any of the things that I've just mentioned. They don't need food, they don't need air, and they don't need water. And they also don't change or grow. Here are some examples of the non-living things. We have a balloon. Have you ever seen a balloon reproducing other balloons? No. There's a chair. Does a chair need air to breathe? Does it need food to eat? Or does it need water to drink? Of course not. So, all the objects that I see around me that don't need water or food or air or space, and they do not also grow or change, they are non-living things. Here is a quick review. The difference between the living things and the non-living things. The living things, like a frog, its characteristics are they need food, water, air, and space. They grow and change, and they reproduce. Again, what do I mean by reproduce? They make new things, or they give birth to new things just like them. What about the non-living thing? The non-living thing, here there's an example of a hat. They do not need any of what I just mentioned. They don't need water, they don't need food, they don't need air, and they do not need space. They do not change and grow, they do not reproduce. All the living and the non-living things, they live in a place called environment. What is an environment? Environment is like the school that you're in. In a school, you can find non-living things like tables, chairs, board, bags. These are the non-living things. And you can also find living things like your friends, your teacher, the plants that you see all over the school. All this place is called an environment because it has living things and non-living things. Another example is a farm. As you can see in this picture, there's a farm. You can see a car. A car is considered what? Think with me. Yes, it is considered a non-living thing. You can see also animals. Animals are living or non-living? Let's think about it. Animals need food to eat, right? They do. They need air to breathe, right? Yes, they do. They need food to eat, right? Yes, they do. They change and grow, and they reproduce new animals. So, this is why they are considered living things. What about the tree? There is a tree that has apples. Let's think about it. Does it need air, food, water, or does it? Yes, a plant needs water to grow, and it reproduces new fruits and vegetables for us. And it needs, of course, space to live in, to be planted in. So it is considered living thing. What about the car and the house? The car and the house, of course, they don't eat or drink or breathe, so this is why they are considered non-living things. So all what you can see in this picture is called an environment. Thanks for watching. I hope you understood everything. And now let's take a look at this video.
Let's learn the difference between living and non-living things. How do we know if something is living? Living things can move, grow, breathe, reproduce, and require nutrients like food and water. Let's look at an example of a living thing. Does a bear move? Yes. Does a bear grow? Yes. Does a bear need nutrients like food and water? Yes. Does a bear breathe? Yes. Does a bear reproduce? Yes. So is a bear living or non-living? That's right. It's living. So how do we know if something is non-living? Non-living things can't move. Non-living things don't grow. Non-living things don't need nutrients. Non-living things don't breathe. Non-living things don't reproduce. Let's look at an example of a non-living thing. Does a microphone move? No. Does a microphone grow? No. Does a microphone need nutrients? No. Does a microphone breathe? No. Does a microphone reproduce? No. So is a microphone living or non-living? That's right. It's non-living. Let's try some more examples together. How about a flower? Does a flower move? Yes. Does a flower grow? Yes. Does a flower need nutrients? Yes. Does a flower breathe or need oxygen? Yes. Does a flower reproduce? Yes. So is a flower living or non-living? That's right. It's living. Does a table move? No. Does a table grow? No. Does a table need nutrients? No. Does a table breathe? No. Does a table reproduce? No. So is a table living or non-living? That's right. It's non-living. Let's try one more together. How about you? Can you move? Yes. Do you grow? Yes. Do you need nutrients like food and water? Yes. Do you breathe? Yes. As humans, are we able to reproduce? Yes. So are you living or non-living? That's right. You're living.